In this video, I will offer new insight on whether a living language of today can indeed unlock one of the earliest written down languages of our world, if not the earliest. A language that already long died even in the times of Ashurbanipal of Assyria. Scholars the world over generally assume that translations for Sumerian tablets have been well and truly completed, but not in my book, literally. So, in this video, I'm going to demonstrate what I mean by choosing just one out of many Sumerian tablets unearthed in the famous library of Ashurbanipal, excavated in 1847 by archaeologist Sir Austin Henry Layard. In Sumerian, Akkadian, Egyptian, and later Hebrew, certain vowels were deliberately omitted. This appears to confirm the suspicion that writing was influenced by the same original set of people or culture, most likely the Sumerians themselves, as they were the first. So, as we will duly find out when we examine the first 18 lines of a famous Sumerian epic poem called the Enuma Elish, it will become apparent that the ancient scribes used these omissions, if we can call them that, to make it easier to vary words and therefore create sly multiple layers of meaning to the very same text. To demonstrate to you this remarkable literary ability, the theme or version of the Enuma Elish used in this video is deliberately different from the version in my book, The Lord's Secret Timetable. In other words, through the variations I present to you, I am already showing you off just one out of several more independently consistent themes rendered in the epic poem. Speaking of Ma'eli, this is one of several key Sumerian words I need to clarify so that your understanding of the Enuma Elish, as I recite it, is natural and flawless. These words are Eli or Ma'eli, Shu or Mishu, Kiye, Mu or Lahammu. Let us begin with Ma'eli. Ma'eli simply means gods. This one is easy to understand because Eli in Hebrew is a common name meaning God, while Ma is a Sotho-Tswana plural prefix to the Hebrew suffix im. Therefore, Elim in rapid speech eventually corrupts to Elohim. Shu or Sha, if we remember the U-A phonemic shift, means scorching. Shu or burning. Sha. Shu also implies something that whooshes through the air. So Mish, plural, is Shu in Hebrew, which then contracts to Shem following rapid speech. What is a Shem? According to Zechariah's section in the 12th planet, it did not originally mean name, as rendered in Genesis 11 translations. It means spaceship, and as you will soon see from the context in the Enuma Elish, he is very correct. Ki means earth, as in the Greek name Gaia. In Bantu languages, it refers more precisely to home. Of course, planet Earth is home to us. Thus, Kaya in Nguni, Kae or Kae in Sotho-Tswana. Mu means Mars, and when the prefix Laha is added, it simply means the land or the planet of, even though land or planet is not specifically mentioned. This kind of usage is common to Sotho-Tswana. In Sotho, for example, when one says Amatalaha Nchwekre, he ran that of Nchwekre. A Sotho speaker automatically knows that the laha, that of, refers to lobelo, speed, even if the word lobelo is not mentioned. So Laha Mu means land of Mu, and Laha is not an ordinary part of the name, contrary to what scholars tend to think. Indeed, in the Enuma Elish, Mu is frequently used alone, without the Laha. So, with these special terms out of the way, you will now understand every word in the Enuma Elish clearly. So just sit back, listen, and enjoy. From the dark depths of space, a yet unnamed intruder is making its ominous way towards planet Earth, ostensibly called Tiamat in the story. Helpless or unprepared, the Eli, that is, the gods, suffer devastation as the intruder smites the planet. The gods are rattled. Nervously, they wait to see if the intruder will return. It does. This time, they have prepared Mishu spacecraft to vacate the doomed planet if necessary. When there seems no way of avoiding the intruder, they scramble for their last resort, their various deposits of Mishu, and batch upon Lucky Bash escapes planet Earth from Mu, evidently Mars, in a series of tight roll calls as space on board was limited. Everyone, especially the gods, are hopeful. But when the last mission does not answer their distress calls that the intruder is now at hand, it was tears and trauma for the gods when they realized that their own kind had also left them behind. This is the story contained in the first 18 lines of the Enuma Elish. Enuma Eli shiilana nabo hoshe amamo. Now the blue and the green iterations are easy to understand. So let us now go a little deeper into the kind of phonemic shifts these scribes employed. Phonemic shifts simply mean certain changes in sound as you move from one dialect to another. As a speaker of Sotho or Tswana, you are already aware of them, so let me merely refresh your memory. For example, Vula in Guni languages is Bula in Sotho-Tswana. The V and B are phonemes, and the shift V to B is a phonemic shift. Linda in Guni is Leta in Sotho-Tswana. Mbeu is Peu, and so forth. Sumerian not only uses the shifts we have just seen, it also takes advantage of sounds that enunciate similarly to each other, which may be almost indistinguishable from each other, especially in rapid speech, such as the following. R, G, K, B, P, S, Z. The two trickiest to be aware of is L to R. In Zulu, there is no R, whereas in Shona, for example, L is considered baby-like, and so even a dollar is pronounced Dora. U may be Ah, also because in rapid speech, they can be almost indistinguishable from each other. Here is an actual example of how these two are varied in the Enuma Elish. Bukura can be Bukura, Bokola, Pukala, Pokola, Pakula, etc. And all these 5 variants are used to devastating effect to create coherent parallel themes. Please note that there is no need for you to memorize these phonemic shifts. As I said, you already know most of them anyway. Ultimately, Sumerian appears to have been written for the ear rather than for the eye. The poems were meant to be recited out loud to an audience, and a mere change in enunciation and intonation, as in the Bukura example, could unearth and reveal puns and double meanings that would obviously send the audience into raptures of laughter. To see what I mean by this, please visit my website and then download the available free chapters of the Lord's Secret Timetable. Then go to Appendix 1 and you will find the very same story of Maeli, also called Mailani, but rendered a different way. And there are other hidden levels too, even a whole change of topic using the very same words. A remarkable feat of literature, difficult to emulate even by today's standards. With these tricky phonemic and phonetic shifts now duly understood, let us dive into the remaining 17 lines of the Enuma Elish. Shashapa lishe ama matomo hushuma la sakarata. Aphosuma, aphazama, apapashu, omamarisha, atusa o shuono. Mo ho oma mutiamata, mme o mo a leleta, a tiki mirushu ono. mme meshu noishi ete nishi ekukuma. Ke paralla kie ese se rususaa allashuyo. Enuma Elish lashu pu ho manama. Shu ho uma la sukuru shimatha la shi imu. Ebe babano ho mailane kiripha shu ono shono. Ilu lahamu elate lahamu hushuta pu hoshu humu isaisaka ho. Hadiri pu o ishiho. Ana sha ga ilu. Huki isha arabe babano ho eli. Shono ata ho. O ruri e kukume. O husisi pu shannateha. Ilu a no mapile shu. No shanenane. Abeshu. Ana sha ga ilu. Ana huma apukalla shu. Mashashile mha. O ile o hano. O mo thamathamishi la shu. O holete ile o. O no ho timi motho. Ilu o no timi motho shabe. Shu shishalete. Shu ono ho shio. apalaka o ho se nne ha sisi immu kana a phukalla. All for now regarding the first 18 lines of the Enuma Elish. It's a paradigm-shifting, game-changing eye-opener for you, especially if you were able to directly understand the Sotho, Pedi, or Tswana therein. In the video, you were offered proof that the Sotho-Tswana language group can substantively unravel a 5,000-year-old document, the Enuma Elish, in a way no current official translation can claim to. Indeed, the theme, storyline, syntax, grammar, use of idioms, and so forth are all in accordance with Bantu syntax, and especially that of the Sotho and Tswana language group. And anyone who speaks any of these languages will surely attest to the veracity of my statement. What then is the way forward? How can you help move progress here, whether or not you can speak these languages? For a start, my ebook, The Lord's Secret Timetable, offers more game-changing revelations than in just languages alone. It tracks and continues, as it were, the footprint of an elite grouping of Maeli, the gods, as they do more than just abandon us on earth in the time of the great Permian extinction 250 million years ago. It reaffirms the unbelievably ancient origins of these human entities, as evidenced by the sophisticated anachronistic artifacts they must have used, as periodically discovered in fossils as old as 310 million years and more. It traces their return to Earth from Mu, that is, the planet Mars, following a well-discerned planetary cataclysm that removed much of that planet's crust, oxygen, and water millions of years ago, leaving it a hostile and barren environment on the surface. The Eli, ever the escapers of planetary disasters, resettled on Earth some 300,000 years ago as the Anunnaki. Aana ahunna hakaya, directly understandable in Sotho-Tswana as those from the skies or heavens who came to settle on Earth. We briefly trace in this book, Appendix 2, how they basically fared until another planetary catastrophe overtook them when a massive shift in a good part of the crust and upper mantle of the Earth around 10983 BC marked the end of the Ice Age and the beginning of our present Holocene era, a period also known biblically as the Flood. This time, when they returned from space, they used their advanced technology to move even more boldly to the epicenter of the worship and religious lives of Earth's Great Flood survivors, all culminating in the Lord's Secret Timetable, the blueprint for permanent dominance over religiosity. This is basically how their story went. Religion's darkest secrets are out. A date formula embedded in the Judaic Book of Jubilees unearths the secretly correct biblical and scientific dates from even before Adam. An overlooked linguistic key reawakens the long-lost Babel language and unearths the many secrets of history buried with it. A new harmonized timeline extending from Abraham to Daniel seamlessly chronicles events from as far back as the time an extremely ancient but highly advanced race of gods finally dared to be God. As their peculiar brand of monotheism unfolded, it culminated in a multi-layered timetable of subtly conflicting religions, calculated to divide and rule humankind, while its drivers enjoy vast leverage over us through the God they created in their own image. But a timeless key still points the way to real salvation, a key the drivers of religion still fight hard to hide from us. So, the first thing you can do with your newfound knowledge is to buy the full book and learn more about the astonishing ways of my Eli. Only after buying this book and apprising yourself of their historical machinations, many of them discerned for the first time ever in this book and never before seen in print, can you then do the next best thing that you can do? That is, to join the Babel Project. What is the Babel Project? The Babel Project is an ambitious program to use Sotho-Tswana to revisit and retranslate all 7 tablets of the Enuma Elish, as well as other very ancient texts. Expand and finalize my already existing but yet unpublished dictionary of proto-language terms. Generate a new and comprehensive linguistic history of how languages varied and evolved. Our new global cooperation will be focused not on building a tower whose top or head will reach the heavens. It will focus on rebuilding all ancient traces of a proto-language that was alive and well deep into the commencement of the first post-flood civilization. A Sotho-Tswana-like founding language that has the potential to unite us all, as already substantively demonstrated in my budding dictionary of proto-language terms. Therein, I reveal how to use Sotho-Tswana to reassemble this basic universal language by analyzing and decoding present languages that indeed resulted from a deliberate scrambling by the gods to help keep us warring and uncooperative. This scrambling duly unpacked, we will find that we all speak one basic founding language that we can quite easily revisit. The Babel Project will reawaken and re-establish the global cooperation the Eli fear so much, where we shall know no prescribed technological and knowledge limits the gods would have liked to continue to impose on us, where we replace an ancient and insidious system with a new and powerful dispensation based on pragmatism and mutual respect. That is the bright future that beckons us in our presently turbulent times. It all depends on us whether we grasp this new opportunity, and your registration to join the Babel Project in whatever capacity, as a Sotho-Tswana speaker, a linguist, an etymologist, a philologist, a historian, or merely as an interested well-wisher, is your first firm and definitive step towards attaining this highly desirable outcome. Remember, it is always darkest before dawn. In these difficult times of COVID-19 and its increasingly dangerous new strains, and just as John signaled to us in Revelation, for details see my blog at my website, these are all signs of endgame times. But it is right at this time that a new birth is realized. And this is the ancient message of hope imparted by Jesus and John. So, let us join hands together and build a new Jerusalem, one descending from heaven and having the shape of a cube, signifying that, like eternal truth, it remains the same whichever way you turn it. The glorious time that John and Jesus envisaged is now at hand. May this new spirit of truth not find you unprepared and wanting.